Hello, everybody. It is Professor Parish, and we are on Module 8, if you can believe it. No, we're on Module 9, if you can believe it. Module 8, I'm recording this on Saturday, so Module 8 is still open. So if you've not done the discussion forum, reading response number 7, or the MLA exam, those are all due tomorrow by 11:59 p.m. But I want to go ahead and talk about Module 9, and I am going to talk about Module 10. So there is going to be one more lecture video after this. I'm going to post it next Saturday, right before our finals week module opens up. I'm going to talk about the final reflection, the final exam, and the paper draft. I'm going to talk about all of that next week. But just so you know, those are the last 3 assignments that'll be in finals week. Those 3 assignments there, they're going to unlock on December 12th. And so you'll have basically December 12th through the 16th to do those. So, but today we're going to talk about Module 9. So let me go ahead and I'm going to put the reading response over, hold on. I would put the reading response up here, and we'll talk about the peer review discussion forum, but let's talk about Module 9. So there's no readings for this week. Basically, the only assignments to do are reading response number 8 and the peer review for your final paper. So I want to go ahead and talk about reading response number 8. I have to say, we are going to watch another Lindsay Ellis video. I do like her a lot. I realize her humor is not for everybody. That's okay. Everybody has different senses of humor. However, this is a shorter video than the one for last week. But this video, what I really like about this modules video that she does is that she talks about an author who's been pretty famous. I'm not going to say who it is because I want you all to watch the video. But she's going to talk about this author that was really, really famous, has been famous over the last couple of decades, and talks about their writing and her first impressions of it, and then how her opinions have changed over time. And I think that's a really important concept because a lot of times when we make a decision about something, a lot of times once you make that decision, it's like people think you can't go back on it. It's like, no, our opinions change over time. We learn things, we develop, we evolve as people. We change our opinions over the course of our lives. And so it's okay. And she talks about how her original thoughts about this author have shifted over time and what that means. And so the video is a lot more straightforward than the last one. But I'm going to ask you 3 questions with it for our last reading response. This is our last reading response. So my questions are, what is the point of the video? What is the opinion she's trying to get across? And do you agree with her? And you don't have to agree with her, but I want you to articulate why you agree or disagree with her opinions. Is it okay to change our opinions of authors and books over time? Explain your answer and offer an example if you have one. And if you don't have one, don't just say, I don't know, I don't have an example. Think of how, if you don't have a literal example, think of what one could be and articulate it in your analysis, right? In your reading response. These are only a page, so it doesn't have to be a very long answer, but don't just say, oh, I don't have an example. That's not going to cut it. I'm going to count off on that. Just make something up, not make something up, but just explain like a hypothetical example if you don't have one, right? And then, would this video essay work as a final version, a version of our final paper? Why or why not? Could this video be a paper 4 essay? Why or why not? And then you just explain your answer. So it's a little bit more straightforward than the last video, but I really like her topic here and her argument. I think it's something that not only applies to literature in English 122, but it's something that applies to anything that we may think about. So that's the last of the reading responses, and the same formatting guidelines apply. So with that being said, the other assignment is the peer review discussion forum. I'm going to go to the discussion forum, and we're going to scroll down here to the peer review. All right. So with the peer review, obviously this is going to open Sunday and it should be Sunday, December 5th. So just know that I meant the 5th, not the 6th. But I wanted you to watch the lecture videos before you started this assignment. So basically what you're going to do is you are going to submit a draft of your final paper, and you are going to read 4 other peer review drafts. So you're going to get to read 4 of your fellow classmates' papers in the class. And I'm going to read all of your papers. All right. Now, your drafts should be at least halfway completed, meaning you should have 4 full pages, not 3 pages and like a paragraph, 4 full pages. At this point, you should be halfway. You should have 4 full pages by Sunday in the discussion forum. If you don't have 4 full pages, I'm going to count off on the forum because you should, at this point, you only have like a few days left after this, so you need to at least be halfway through, right? Ideally, the more you get completed, the more feedback you'll get. So if you just give me a page, I'm going to count off, and I'm only going to give you feedback on a page of your paper. You don't get to revise this last paper. What you turn in is the final grade. So this is your revision stage. This peer review is where you get to turn in your paper, and I myself as the instructor and your peers get to revise it and review it and give you feedback so that you can make your paper as good as possible when you turn the final draft in. Now, you can also email to Miss Lane, so Miss Joanna Lane at joanna.lane, Lane, at sic.edu. You can email to her. Do that this week. Don't wait until finals week to email her. She'll be swamped. Do it this week if you want her to look over your paper as well before you turn it into the discussion forum. That's fine too. But when you attach your papers, I will read it along with 4 of your peers. So you'll get lots of feedback, hopefully, to make sure your final draft is as good as it can be. Now, please attach your papers. Do not copy and paste them into the discussion post. Every semester I have someone do this. If you copy and paste it, I'm not going to read it. I will give you no feedback, and I will take off points if you don't follow the instructions. This is really easy, but there's always one student every semester that doesn't follow the directions. And I'm like, they're right here. They're so easy. So I'm not going to call you out in the discussion forum, but just know that if you don't attach the paper, I'm not going to read it. So I always have a student do this. So please let this be the one semester that no one does this. I beg you. So you'll attach it as a PDF, a Word doc, or a rich text file. If you have a Mac, you'll need to save it as one of those formats. So how you attach it is if I go down here to reply, I can type out, hey, this is what my paper is about. I'm concerned about grammar, or I'm concerned about works cited page. Just you can list any concerns you have about your paper. And then down below, you'll see this attach button. When you click the attach button, it's the paper clip. You can click choose file. You can pick a file from your desktop or wherever, and then you'll put open, and then it'll attach the file here. And so when you submit your discussion forum, it will have the file attached. And make sure when you submit your post, you check that there is a link to your attached document. If it's not there, you'll have to edit your discussion forum post and reattach it, all right? And if you have questions about that, let me know. But basically, you're just gonna attach the paper, and then you're going to read 4 of your peers' drafts. Now, for your responses, I would like you to give constructive criticism, specifically say what you like and what you'd improve on with your papers. What I don't want is this. If your reply is, great job, I liked the paper. That's not criticism. That's just you saying that you like the paper. There's nothing constructive about that. You're not helping the writer out in any way. You're just telling them that you like the paper. But that doesn't make them know what you liked, right? So you can, I'm going to clean up the grammar, obviously. So you could say, great job, I like the paper. You could say, the flow of it and the structure was very easy to follow, and the details about the terminology and I'm just making this up as I go, right? You can say terminology was well done. If I would have changed anything, I would go back through and make sure to add in-text citations. Like something like that. You don't have to write a novel of feedback, but just give them some specific details. Now that took me 30 seconds to write, right? That took me 30 seconds to do that. I know you can put a lot more into a constructive post in like 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, you can write quite a bit, right? To give them some feedback, okay? So I don't want to see just the great job, I liked the paper. If I see something like that, I'm going to take off a lot of points because that's not helping the writer out at all. And it tells me that you didn't read their paper if you can't even say anything about it. So I have had a lot of students do this, so I'm going to crack down pretty hard on that because this is our final peer review and it's the week before finals and your only assignments are this and a reading response that's pretty easy. So I'm going to crack down pretty hard on this because I think it's important with our paper being worth so much. you should be giving a little bit more feedback than just this. And I don't want to be mean about it, but I do have students every semester that do that. So I want to try to curb that because you all have worked really hard on these papers. I know you have. And so I want you to get good feedback, and I'll give you feedback, definitely. But I want you to also get some from your peers, right? So the grades are going to be based on everything above here, proper grammar, punctuation, and completing them by the due date. So obviously, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. There are no dumb questions. There are only questions. I'm definitely happy to answer any questions you all have this week about your papers. Just try to get as close as you can, at least to 4 pages. If you have more, that's great. That'll give me more to look at. But just know that this is not this is still a work in progress draft. It's not your final draft, right? So they don't have to be polished and pure. They just need to have as much content as you can put in them, right? And try to have a works cited page if you can, because that will help me look at your works cited page and point out any errors you might have between now and the finals. All right? So as far as that goes, those are the only 2 assignments this week. Pretty straightforward. As if you have any revisions to paper 3, those are due this weekend. But otherwise, that's pretty much it for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know. I am going to have one more video after this to talk about finals week. But after that, we should be all set. So as always, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and I'll talk to y'all next week for finals week in English 122.